James Chen rubbed his tired eyes as he made his way through the cramped corridors of mining station Kepler 442b. The human engineer had been working double shifts for weeks, trying to keep the aging orbital platform operational. The station served as a waypoint for dozens of species, most of them refugees or workers from the Outer Rim colonies. It was during one of his routine maintenance rounds in the lower decks that he found it, a small, leather-bound journal tucked behind a broken ventilation grate. The cover was worn smooth and strange symbols were etched into its surface. James recognized the script as Zephyrian, one of the more common languages in this sector. He shouldn't have opened it. Privacy was sacred among the various species. Aboard the station, and violating someone's personal writings was considered deeply offensive. But curiosity got the better of him, and his basic understanding of Zephyrian script allowed him to make out the words. The journal belonged to someone named Elsa Moranden, though she simply signed it as Elsa in the human fashion. She was 17 cycles old, a Zephyrian girl working in the station's waste reclamation center. As James read, he felt his heart sink. Day 847, another human ship docked today. I watched them through the observation deck, so tall and confident. They move like they own the stars themselves. I wonder what it feels like to have a homeworld to return to. Day 851. Catherine says I'm foolish for dreaming of the Academy. Poor dock rats like us don't become star navigators, he tells me. Maybe. He's right. The entrance exam alone costs more credits than I'll earn in 5 years. Day 856. I found another discarded navigation manual in the human section today. The equations are beautiful. They make the void sing with mathematics. If only I could afford the neural implants needed to interface with a navigation computer. If only. If only. James closed the journal, his hands trembling slightly. He'd seen Elsa before, a slight figure with pale blue skin and large, dark eyes who cleaned the corridors during the night shift. He'd never paid much attention to her, assuming she was just another refugee earning subsistence wages. The next few entries painted a picture of grinding poverty and impossible dreams. Elsa worked 16-hour days to support her sick mother, sending most of her earnings to medical facilities on her ravaged homeworld. Yet despite her circumstances, every entry revealed a brilliant mind, hungry for knowledge, particularly in stellar navigation and quantum mechanics. Day 863. I solved the Krethak paradox today during my break. I know it's impossible. The greatest minds in the galaxy have worked on it for centuries. But what if the solution isn't in the mathematics, but in the interpretation? What if consciousness itself affects quantum navigation fields? James nearly dropped the journal. The Krethak paradox had stumped navigators for generations. It dealt with why certain quantum fields seemed to respond differently to various species' neural patterns. The implications for faster-than-light travel were enormous. That night, James couldn't sleep. He spent hours researching Zephyrian biology and the Galactic Navigation Academy's requirements. What he discovered made him angry. The Academy's entrance fees were deliberately exclusionary, designed to keep out anyone who wasn't from a wealthy core world. Brilliant minds like Elsa's were systematically excluded. James had connections. As a human engineer, he carried certain privileges in galactic society. Humans were known for their unpredictable nature and their tendency to solve problems through unorthodox means. More importantly, James's sister worked for the Academy's admission board. He started with small gestures. Anonymous donations appeared in Elsa's account, never enough to raise suspicion but sufficient to ease her mother's medical bills. Navigation manuals and technical journals began showing up in the Waste Reclamation Center, always in spots where Elsa would find them during her rounds, but James's real plan was more ambitious. Using his engineering skills and his savings, he began constructing something unprecedented, a portable navigation interface that didn't require expensive neural implants. Instead, it used haptic feedback and augmented reality overlays, technologies humans had developed for their own use. Day 891. Something strange is happening. I keep finding exactly the resources I need to study. It's like the station itself is conspiring to help me learn. Today I found a haptic interface unit, military grade. Someone must have made a mistake in the disposal logs. James watched from the shadows as Elsa discovered his gift. Her eyes widened as she realized what she was holding. Within minutes, she had the device connected to a salvaged computer terminal, her fingers dancing across holographic displays with intuitive grace. The breakthrough came 2 weeks later. Using James's interface and her own theories, Elsa successfully solved not only the Krethak paradox, but proposed an entirely new approach to quantum navigation. Her solution could reduce FTL travel times by 30%, while making the technology accessible to species that had previously been excluded from galactic commerce. James submitted Elsa's work to the Academy under his own credentials, claiming it as collaborative research. When the acceptance letter arrived, along with a full scholarship and a research position, he arranged for it to reach Elsa through official channels. Day 912. I can't believe it. The Academy wants me. They say my work on quantum consciousness interfaces represents a paradigm shift in navigation theory. They're offering me everything: tuition, living expenses, even a research stipend for mothers. Treatment. I don't understand how this happened, but I swear on my ancestors' memory that I'll prove worthy of this chance. James watched from the observation deck as Elsa boarded the transport that would take her to the Academy. She moved with new confidence, her worn clothes replaced by a crisp Academy uniform. Just before the airlock sealed, she turned and looked back at the station, as if sensing she was being watched. For a moment, their eyes met through the transparent steel. Elsa raised her hand in a small wave, not to anyone in particular, but to the station itself, to whatever force had conspired to change her fate. James waved back, knowing she couldn't see him in the shadows. Sometimes the best gifts were the ones where the giver remained anonymous. Sometimes the greatest victories were the quiet ones, where a human engineer chose to use his privileges not for personal gain, but to open doors that should never have been closed in the first place. As the transport disappeared into hyperspace, James returned to his duties. There would be other Elsas on other stations, other brilliant minds trapped by circumstance, and there would be other humans like him, ready to prove that sometimes the most human thing you could do was ensure everyone else got their chance to shine among the stars. The journal remained in his quarters, its final entry a promise that echoed across the galaxy. I will not forget where I came from, or that someone believed in me when I couldn't believe in myself. Someday I'll pay it forward.